Hey, welcome back, gamers, to some more Crossout here on Gamer Guide with me, Roland. Today we're going to be looking at some exhibition builds of the Leviathans, which are bosses people can create for the PVE mode, and a different way to earn some income, the way I understand it. So we'll be doing that, and then I'll be showing off some of my new creations, like this, the Eagle Knight here, and some other vehicles I made afterwards if you want to stick around. But let's go ahead and get started here. We'll jump into our exhibition, and you'll see here there's a new little tab, I think it's new at least, called Leviathan, and you can go in, and these are, like I said, bosses, and the number of parts that you can use in a boss is 180 out of 55 instead of just being 55 out of 55 like most. So these cannot be driven by players in normal battle mode, but you can put one of these together later in the game and then be able to use that to destroy people in PvE mode and get credit and stuff for it. So let's see how it does against my Eagle Knight. Seems to be making pretty short work of it here. It's a combination of, looks like chain guns, miniguns, maybe a Vulcan or something like that. I'm not sure what that is in there, but there's some legendary weapons too. It's kind of stuff all over the place. It's called Leviathan of Borg, which you guys probably saw when it's porting in. It's kind of an homage to Star Trek The Next Generation. If you guys are younger, don't know about that show. This definitely looks like a Borg ship, so I'm going to have to give it some bonus points for that. Let's go and port some enemies in here and see how it does against some of this. Now, I cannot control the guns when I'm playing one of these AI bots, the Leviathans, but I can drive it around and I can kind of point the cursor in a direction, but it's basically fighting these by itself and doing a pretty good job. So I could see how this would be a fun boss to fight against, and this thing is actually pretty effective. I would say the only downside to it is that it seems a little wobbly at times when I'm turning, and I could see this having a hard time maybe getting uphill. We'll take it over there and see. But if you can roll this thing over, you probably have a much better chance of beating it. Also has some built-in shotguns on the side, which look really nice on this Borg ship. So good at close range, good at medium range. I don't see any heavy cannons on it, but it is pretty quick, so it can get up on people pretty fast. That looks like the idea, though. If you want to take this thing down in a PvE game, you probably want to ram it and try to tip it over. Very cool. So I definitely like the Leviathan of Borg. That is by Steve Brule. So thumbs up on that. We'll add one to it. You can download these, I guess, if you wanted to use this as your own little AI bot or whatever. I'm not sure. I haven't really gone into that too much. Yeah, I'm definitely missing some parts, and I don't think I could even have a vehicle that was 180 out of 180. I'm not sure. Anyway, so, or you might be able to do it, but I'm not sure exactly how to submit a boss into AI mode. I'll have to figure that out later. But definitely thumbs up on that. We got this one called Big Metal Tank. It looks like it just has one gun on it, so more of an art build, but kind of cool looking for sure, and definitely looks huge. I'll say that. I'm going to go and pass on reviewing that one, though. Let's go to the Gorinich, I guess, Gorinich. So it looks like a giant monster. Look at that. This guy's got even teeth and eyeballs, and then rocket launchers on its head, and a giant spike tail. Very cool. Let's see how effective it actually is. We'll take it for a test drive here. Wow, and automatically with the rockets. Breathing some fire on people. All right, let's see how it does against a multitude of enemies. Now, it seems like my cursor actually does help the missiles aim a little bit better. I've noticed that even when it fires. And this thing would just absolutely be a terror. It does have 25mm guns, some cosmetic spikes and stuff here and there, probably more for looks than anything else. And then we have that, looks like Vulcan cannon on the back. I think that's the legendary version of it. And then we have some 20mm guns, too, on the underside, I just noticed. Really cool paint job, too. Liking it. Makes it look more animal-like. And then has a battle ram on the front. Wow, this thing is really cool looking and effective, too. Oh, we got someone else coming in. And then that melee damage, definitely making it work there with the weight on this thing. It just must do tremendous catastrophic damage to anything it touches. And probably even if you go up against, I would like to see this like Leviathan go against another Leviathan and see if those spikes could actually be effective against something on the top where the mouth is. Very creative though, so probably the most creative one I've seen so far as the these Leviathan builds go. All right, let's check out the next one. We have one just basically covered with, looks like machine guns. And it's just called 28 machine guns, so I guess that pretty much tells how many we have. 28 if we want to count them up. We got some spikes on the front, and tons of wheels, a lot of frames. Just kind of checking out the underside. It's got his radar hidden underneath there. It seems simple. It's a gun bed, but let's take it out and see how it does. Now, it's not going to be a long-range vehicle at all. And as you can see here, the AI is not even using the guns yet to fire. But let's see once it gets into range how it does on the Eagle Knight. Wow, so even the guns by themselves don't do a lot of damage when they're together like that. They just kind of pool the damage up and just strip down vehicles in a blink of an eye. Let's port in some AI now and see how it stands up against these. I imagine that they're just going to get wrecked, as this should be kind of ideal against smaller vehicles. Spike's definitely doing their job, and yeah, I would say probably the weak side on this would just be coming up behind it, because then you'd only have 5 guns that can hit anything. But anything in front of this is going to be in big trouble, and it's pretty maneuverable. I mean, we have tons of wheels on it, and it looks like they're all the medium-sized ones. It must have a lot of cooling units, I'm guessing, on the underside. But it's actually getting ripped up pretty good here, so this wouldn't be one of the tougher opponents in a boss battle. I could see it being a terror when it's up close, but if you have a 100mm gun or 88mm gun or rockets or something like that, you could probably do pretty significant damage to this boss. But pretty cool idea. I'll give it a thumbs up, and let's move on to the next one. Looks like this is just kind of a fun build here. A shop, we probably couldn't even take it out. It's got a bed, computer, a window. Really cool art build. So it looks like someone's living room. And I guess you could port that in. This kind of, let's say, it won't let you test drive it properly. You could download it and then have that in your bay. We have a giant duck. Let's try this out. Is this actually just an art build, or is it viable? Oh, it looks like it does have a rocket launcher, so this is someone's legit combat build. We'll see how we do here. Eagle Knight. So these missiles don't seem like they're the heat-seeking ones. You do have to have a little bit of aim here. Alright, so we need some more test victims. Can the duck take down some of these little trucks? Pretty effectively there. Alright, one got close enough to be able to hit me. Oh, here's one. So one thing I'll say about this is it has only a certain amount of ammo. So once you run out of ammo, you're just pretty much out of luck. There's no machine guns on it. It's all rockets. But at least that way you could they could kind of hide it away and make the duck more of an art build. We call this thing Duck of Doom. But you can see it's doing pretty good here. Uh-oh. Might have got foiled. It looks like it is permanently grounded. Oh, there we go. We're back up on our feet. We'll thank him by missile in his face. Thank you, sir. Oh, man, he beat me, though. I like it, though. So, the UT Co. version 5. Very cool. 25 beta. Thumbs up to you on the creative build. It would be good if you used 2 of the tracks of the same type. Maybe he just had a hard time getting another track to match, so he's using what he had. But it does kind of make it look like it's walking or something, with having the 2 different sizes of tracks. So pretty creative stuff. The giant Leviathan duck is a fan. Now this one looks really interesting here. We have it's called User Slot 1. Not named, but it has the hazard paint on it, which I like the look of it. And it does have guns on it, but they're really hard to see with this hazard paint. So I like the idea of maybe using this as camo. Let's take it out for a test drive. Wow, look at all the grenade launchers and stuff on it. Oh, it's just got a ton of guns. That is nuts. I definitely would not want to come up against this. This is like, I would think, probably the most formidable boss I've seen so far. Let's bring in some enemies and see if they can last a couple seconds against this guy. I mean, look at all the missiles and grenades. It's got all the melee damage on the outside. Now, they've made some changes to the game, too, I guess I should mention, where melee damage does 25% more damage. They rebalanced some of the weapons. They also added stuff like fire damage with the new Porcupine barrel launcher, which is really cool. But yeah, any kind of spikes or bumper guards do 25% more damage than they used to, so it's really fun using your car in fights like a ram, basically, to take people out. And then also the non-passive melee, like the augers and the harvester and stuff, they do more damage too, which is pretty fun. So if you're playing a lightweight vehicle, which I've seen a lot of lately in the games, lightweight vehicle with melee damage is really effective now, especially as a good secondary backup weapon. Anyway, I think out of all the robots, this is probably the most combat effective one I've seen. It's got so many guns on the side, and it's so well camouflaged, it's hard to see actually where everything is. But you can see the grenade launchers right up there in the front. Missile launchers, you got your grenade launchers on the side, and 25mm guns that are really, or 20mm cannon, I guess. It's really well guarded in there. Really impressed. Very cool. You need to give this thing a name, though. Collapse number 9, thumbs up to you. If I was going to download one right now, I'd probably choose this guy, or try to build something like it. All right, let's go on to the next here. We got something called Twin Turbo. This looks more like maybe a speed concept build than anything else. It doesn't look too viable in the way of guns, but it's Twin Turbo sounds like it's fast, so I kind of want to take it out and see how we do as far as speed. And this is definitely really fast for something with tank tracks. I don't think I've ever driven anything that goes as fast as tank tracks. Not really especially stable, though. And for some reason, the guns are not firing. So that's interesting. And I can't make them fire either. So not really a viable build, but as far as a speed build, pretty cool. I'm going to go and pass on that one. We won't call that an official review. I was just kind of curious of what that was. Alright, so let's see. I guess we're on to number 4 now, right? Let's see, we've had... that was actually officially 5. Let's do a couple more of those. I see some more cool... We'll call these bonus reviews here. We'll go look at the Kraken and the Levi Fox build, and then we'll call it good for this, and I'll go and show you some of my creations. This one here is called the Kraken. How could we not test drive the Kraken? This thing looks awesome. And look at all the tank tracks on the bottom side, too. So many of them. We got 4 here, 2, and there's 8 tracks on this, and then you have 4 wheels, too. So, as far as taking out movement, it'd be pretty hard-pressed. Now, it's got one of the new guns I've seen recently that does shock damage. So when you see that shock, it's basically like a stun. It disables the vehicle. If you combine like EMP from Robocraft with a gun, this is basically what it would be. Let's go and see if we can get some new victims here. We got also some grenade launchers. And we have front melee damage, which can make short work of people just by running into them. Chain guns on it, 25mm cannons on it. And then I like the color they used here, too. It looks like maybe it's a matte black or something like that. Going to take out some of these guys here. Now, it takes a little while to turn, so if you're going up against this, not that getting behind it would be especially useful, but there is a little bit in the way of to do major damage on the back. Look how he armored up that 25mm gun on the rear side. That looks really cool. Good idea there. Anyway, this thing is just a beast. Definitely deserving of the name Kraken. So I like it. I think if I had to pick this one or the last one, I might still pick the one with the hazard paint job over this one, as it seemed to be a little bit more maneuverable. And the rockets on it were just devastating. No rocket barrage, only grenades on this guy. Oh, we got one more victim coming in. Let's see how long it takes until he is dispatched. So this is more a mid-range beast. Alright, thumbs up on that, and for our last bonus build here, let's check out the Levi Fox, and then I'll show you some of my vehicles after this. Alright, I like the orange paint on this. I haven't come into orange paint yet, but that looks really cool. We've got an 88mm and lots of grenade launchers on here. And a couple tracks hidden on the underside, so if you lose your outer tracks, you're not just completely out of luck. You can kind of see them here on top, too. Let's take it out real quick. And right away, the grenade launcher is doing work. Wow, before I got out of the bay, the Eagle Knight was destroyed. That is impressive. And I was pressing forward the whole time. Okay, let's bring in some more of the guys. And see how long they last. Doesn't have a really good melee damage. On the front, at least, it doesn't seem. This has the regular bumpers, which only do 1 melee damage, and we did lose one outer track right away. Not sure why that is. It seems like that was a little disproportionate to damage. Now, something here is doing shock damage, too, on this, which I'm not really sure. I don't see a weapon that does shock damage on here. So maybe it's an ability you can add to your weapon. They did add in the game a ability to craft weapons. Basically, by combining like types, you can make your weapons better and improve them. So if you have, for instance, 3 20mm guns, you can combine them together and make a 20mm gun with some extra ability, and maybe one of those things is shock. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, this does seem a little slow. I think maybe we lost something important, like an engine or something like that. But it is really cool. So I'll definitely give that a thumbs up for my last little bonus. And let me take this time to ask you guys to go ahead and thumbs up this video if you would. Subscribe if you have not subscribed yet and you like games like Crossout or Robocraft. Definitely love to have you here as part of my community. And I'm now over 5,000 subscribers. I'm going to be getting to reading those AMA questions that I put out my last video in an upcoming episode of most likely Robocraft. But anyway, thank you guys for being here, and now let's go ahead and take a look at some of my builds. So first up is my Eagle Knight. This is my most recent creation, and one that I kind of based off 2 other builds that I'll show you a little bit later on. But I went with dual heavy machine guns. I was able to get my hands on another one by selling some stuff, and then armored this thing up using a light frame and a Nomad cabin. So I went out and bought that as well, as I wanted something a little bit faster, and the top speed on these is a lot better for getting around. And it seems like right now the meta for gameplay is, you know, quicker moving vehicles. Things with melee damage seem to be really popular right now too. I also noticed a lot of people playing missiles and like the thunder shotgun stuff that got improved a little bit recently. So a lot of vehicles like that one right there that move around a lot quicker. So I wanted to at least be kind of a mid-range or a mid-speed vehicle. This takes a little bit longer to get up to top speed as my missile hits the building there, unfortunately. But it takes a little bit longer to get up to top speed because of its heavy armor. It's almost at cap as far as its weight goes. I think it's like 9,500 capacity on this particular kind of vehicle. And I'm almost at the top. I think I'm going to get 5 shy or something like that of being at the top speed. So it can go faster, but it just takes a little bit longer to get there. Using the double tires, I had locked those earlier. I crafted them basically. And I like them a little bit better than the normal ones, as they seem to hold up a little bit better against damage, and they also carry a little bit more weight too, so that's nice for this sort of frame. Anyway, we got the victory there. Also got my 100 battle win right there too, so that's kind of cool to show you guys. So that is the Eagle Knight, but I based that off of the Eagle Warrior, and so let me go back and I'll show you those. The power score on that one's a little bit lower too, and sometimes that's a good thing when you're trying to go up against easier competition. This one here though, I used a 25mm cannon, used the the heavy machine gun on the front, and then you'll see all the melee damage here on the front. So that's really nice when you're going up against other vehicles. I wasn't able to retain all that on the Eagle Knight, as those dual machine guns and fire launcher took up extra CPU and extra parts too, which I had to take from somewhere basically, as these all are 55 part builds, basically using everything. If you got extra parts, I usually will throw them into cosmetics or something to up your reputation. So I use radar in this, I got radio in this. The only thing I'll say is that the cabin is not very protected. So that was kind of my first iteration. If I was going to go back and change things around now, I would probably armor this up a little bit better by putting some side panels on, maybe stripping out some of the extras here and finding something a little lighter weight. Part of the problem is just that the weight is so close to being over encumbered that I'd have to scale back some of the other armor. And it's a good idea to have heavy armor around the front of your vehicle, as you usually go head-to-head against other people head-on for the most part, unless they ambush you or something, like I'm doing here to these guys. So I'm having a lot of fun playing this though, and I still have it in my bay. I'm probably going to update it a little bit and see if I can figure out a way to keep the 25mm and other cannon on there with a little bit better armor to the hull, because I do really like having the ability to have some good collision damage and chase people down. but also like having the heavier guns and stuff too sometimes. So anyway, this is an improvement on the Eagle Warrior 2, as on this one I actually did armor up the cabin, and I wanted to go with something a little bit maneuverable for the gun. So these little side plates you get, I think, at level 13 or 14. They're not unlocked until then. I think they're called a large ramp or something like that, or truck ramp. So I put those on the side, and they're both worth like 50 structural integrity, or whatever you want to call that. So it's a good way to protect your cabin, and also a cool way to armor up your vehicle. Go and load it in and show it to you. Got a lot of damage still on the front, and I was just able to just strip out enough and make it a little bit lighter by adding some of the nomads like cubes here in the center near the engine compartment to kind of make up that extra difference. But it's nice as it goes fast. You can get in there and do some damage with your front ram guard. As you see, I stripped out that guy's wheel there real quick. Started getting fired on, so I back up a little bit, but I did take a couple good shots there on the side, and as you see, it just took the armor out instead of doing major damage to my vehicle, and left me with my other cannon too. So it's a kind of a good way to mount your stuff. So I can just sit back here and with my other 20mm gun take some of these guys out. So I got one kill there already, and the same for these guys' cabin. These 20mm guns are pretty accurate, so I like using them, as you can peel off people's weapons a little bit easier, even though they're just a rare gun. And but they are 5 points though in score for weapons. So as you see here too, my mass is still at 94, 95 in the bottom right corner out of 9,500. So it is an awfully heavy vehicle. I had to basically go back and like keep redesigning till I got it as close to that maximum weight as I could, and full power score to 12 out of 12 for weapons. So that I like a lot. Dune Warrior, this is made right after I did the last video, so I don't think you guys saw this one yet. It's another heavy vehicle, uses the 20mm gun and the heavy machine gun and pyro launcher together, so that's kind of a cool combination, using all your points that way. It has an extra ammo box, and I just mounted the back off the cooling radiator for the weapons. So this is a lot of fun to play too. Has pretty good movement redundancy with the double wheels again, using those. And then I use a lot of struts on the back. A lot of the heavier armor pieces in this one too, fender guards and all that, adding to the overall toughness of it. So it works nicely. Probably the only weakness is just, you know, people hitting the generator on the back, but it is kind of hard to hit. I thought we have some areas that are not painted on it, so why don't we just go ahead and hit it up real quick. Got some new colors here too, it looks like. I don't remember getting Midnight Black. That must be new. That must have been a drop out of one of the games. So not only can you get regular things to craft in the matches, but every once in a while some special item will drop if you've been playing enough. But I still like my desert paint, so we're going to go back here, paint it up, and while I'm fixing up and repainting my vehicle, maybe I'll show you a little match footage from playing Dune Warrior. So here we are. Dune Warrior is pretty maneuverable, which I like. It turns a little bit faster and moves a little bit better, as it has a engine on the inside to kind of keep its top speed up a little bit. And then it does a pretty good amount of melee damage too with the front blaster guards. And it can take a lot of punishment, which is also pretty essential. So I use this one a lot when I'm playing the PvE modes to get copper and stuff like that, as it can really take a lot of tanking and get through a whole match without losing a lot of parts. In the players versus player, it just does okay. A lot of people use bigger weapons than I have, or they'll use like the large cannons and stuff like that, so it's better as kind of a cleanup vehicle or playing support with other people. But it is pretty good. I got it all repainted, so let's go ahead and resave this guy as Dune Warrior. You only get 5 slots in this. That would be one thing I'd like to see, if you could unlock more slots. I would definitely pay for an extra slot or two, so I wouldn't have to delete some of my old stuff. But we'll go ahead and save this new Dune Warrior. It's just 500 power score, so not too bad. And then my next one is Heavy Gunner. This is kind of even more armor, and I added some more movement to it too. So it has the 2 big tank tracks, which I like a lot, and then it has 2 extra wheels in case you lose one of your tracks or you lose a wheel. You can still kind of get around. This one though is using 2 of the heavy machine guns, so I was able to purchase another one of them. And then I kind of want to try out this new black paint, as I haven't seen it before, so we'll see how it looks. It's pretty nice actually. I think I liked it better than the Scorched Earth paint, I'll say. And yeah, it looks pretty good. So in the back here, I put on a extra ammo pack, and then a generator and some other stuff kind of hidden behind those van doors. And then I'm using pretty much all the toughest pieces I could find including these barrels on the front to kind of protect my heavy machine gun. So it's a good kind of support vehicle. You can get up on people and do a good job taking them out. Let's let somebody else kind of roll in front of you. And especially for against lighter weight vehicles, does really well. The pyro launcher is kind of the secret weapon of this thing, as that's kind of the counter to the close range play of these dual machine guns, is firing off a missile. Let's go ahead and then I'll show you a little bit of footage from this guy. So what I like to do on this map is kind of hang down here with cover and wait till people like careen in here and then kind of peel out their stuff. When you're at close range, you can do really nice damage with these dual heavy machine guns and to strip out people's parts. Especially in games like this, with a lot of people bringing in the mammoth cannons or the big 100mm cannons. Going and being the front man usually will get you destroyed quickly, but if you play cover well, you can do pretty well. And this is a little bit too close for my pyro launcher, so I usually just use my machine guns until I'm out in the open. And then I can take advantage of the missile launcher system. There's a lot of different missiles in this game. This one's like more the epic single shot, but then there's also like a Hellfire missile system and a couple others that are really cool that I would like to unlock in the future, especially for lighter weight vehicles. I've noticed it's really popular. I cheat for fun. Nice name, bro. But you can see there my pyro launcher does pretty good to people up above or people at long range, and then you can kind of like fall back and take cover and keep hitting them. Looks like that last missile missed. But that's a general idea, and I got this all painted in black. I think it looks pretty good. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for checking out that video. That is pretty much it here. Come back again. I'll be doing more videos on Robocraft, Galactic Junk League, and Crossout. Thanks again for your support here on the channel. It means a lot to me. And thank you very much for getting me over 5,000 subscribers. That's super cool. And I'll see you guys here in my very next episode. Later.